Anyway, I cut 5. So I'm propagating them in some water. Look at these star jasmine. So I can tell you that these originals, these are 3. This is 3 plants that I got at Walmart. 2 of them, I got them back when my old house, my old home was still here. Probably I lost the house in 2012. So I'd probably had them 3 or 4 years already. And I had a single carport. I mean, this was always a driveway. This was always a driveway in. And the back of like my side door that goes onto the back porch right there was kind of about where my back door was in my old house. It sat just a little bit further back than what this house sits now. And so my carport, I had a single carport, basically probably like this one, you know, just this section of carport. Not this carport, of course, this is all new, but it was back there and about that wide. And I had some lattice on the pole here and lattice on the pole there, and I had the 2 planted. And they had just started growing really pretty. You know, after you take them out of the bucket that you buy them in, and you know, I kind of cut down the roots, open it all up, shove it, stick it in the ground, fill it full of potting soil. Okay, so I guess they were probably yeah, about 3 or 4 years old when we had the fire, and of course they had to be pulled up. The 3rd one was at the back of the house, it was just sort of back there along the gate. So everything kind of got, you know, after the fire, the tractor's here, it's digging these big holes for the house to go in. And you can see, I've pointed this out in other videos, but maybe some of you newer people don't realize that I did have a house fire. It was the original old home place from the 1840s. And Daniel dug a big hole here in this area and a big hole over there. And so you can see the ground goes, it's sinking, because as the house rots underneath us and, you know, the ground sinks. So one day, David told me one day he'll bring me some dirt to pile on these, kind of bring it back up with level. This holds water like a little pond when it's raining. This new hole here, that's fairly new. When I put that old bathtub, that bathtub is really messed up. It's, you know, I planned to have it painted, and when I went to get it, I thought I could use it, but it ended up not being usable because it had sat in the dirt for so long. The legs were, number one, the legs were missing, and they had rusted down to, like, there's kind of like these nubs underneath where the clawfoot would have slid into these little brackets. There's like this pile of rusty metal. And so you couldn't even, I mean, I would have had to pay a lot of money to get it back in order and you know, sandblasted and all that kind of stuff that they do. And then find legs. So ended up just being, I was going to put plants in it. I put it underneath this tree. Well, you know, they had to cut this tree down a couple of years ago, or maybe it was last year. And I was going to put plants in it, flowers in it that take the shade, because that big oak tree just provided so much. Here it is. It provided so much shade in this area. This tree came up after I mean, you can see it's in a hole. But that hole where that trash can, dear me, where that bathtub, yeah, it looks like a trash can right now. It's got dead stuff. It's got hedge, like wild hedge, and it's got dead hedge. It was not in a hole when I sat it there. It was not in a hole, and now it's a hole. You can see This hole just kind of gradually goes that way. So yeah, at some point I'm wanting David to come in and drop me a load of dirt here. This St. Augustine will eventually just climb over the top of it, because that's how St. Augustine grows. It vines out kind of like this. You know, it grows along the top of the ground. See it coming out of the grass? It grows along the ground. So yeah. But what I wanted, also, I've got, this is a mimosa tree. There was a blight on mimosas. Oh my gosh, probably 15, oh, longer than that, because I've been in this house. Maybe 25 years ago. Every mimosa died. They died. Mom and Dad had several around their house. They died. I had 2 here at this property that did not die, and I don't know how. God just blessed me. It just, they didn't die. Daniel knocked them both down in the process of getting the old house torn down and buried. He knocked them both down. They both ended up being hit, you know, maybe not on purpose, but they both ended up being hit by the tractor that was doing the work, and it was a big old tractor. And then first, a mimosa tree came up underneath my house trying to hang out. It was right at the edge of this new house, and now it's broke away now, and I'm not going in there. Actually, it's got new, there's a trunk right inside that. Can't see anything, blurred up. There's a trunk right inside that fence, and it's got new limbs coming out of it, but it was sort of grew right at the edge of my house at an angle to get the sun. And then all of a sudden, 1, 2, 3, 4, I didn't know there was a 4th one there, come out from underneath the edge. Well, they're not under the house either, they're just at the edge of the house. And then this one came up next. It was that one over there, then this one, and then all of a sudden in the last couple of years, these have popped out over here amongst those crepe myrtles. And I do need to cut those crepe myrtles back. I didn't do it this past fall, and I meant to, but they're hitting my metal, and I don't want them like wind blowing and making them push the metal up. So I do have to get those trimmed back. I'm going to do them like I did that one in the backyard. I'm going to do them about 6 foot high, you know, just a little taller than me, and just let them sort of bush out low and not grow up. My grandmother that planted these, Nanny, planted all these along this. Now there are some regular trees that come up in the driveway with the crepe myrtles, but when she first planted all this, it was just crepe myrtles lining the driveway on both sides, and she never did any trimming. So now, like when you see newer crepe myrtles like mine that are just a few years old here, and the ones in the back, sometimes they'll have flowers all over them, where these will be kind of just sporadically, some flowers sporadic on them, because they don't put out the flowers like they used to. But when they are blooming, it is pretty. I mean, it's still flowers up there, but they're way up high, and they're just really, you know, few and far between, but you can see some color. These are bright red, and they're pretty when they're flowering. And then there's one right back there in the backyard. I think it's a purple. It's actually, I think too, there's a purple and pink that come out on that tree. Anyway, what I was wanting to show y'all was this star jasmine. So when I got this house and built the front porch, that's the first thing I did, was put those 3 star jasmine in the ground. And if you remember last May, when we had to bring the goats to the front yard until we the water went down, they ate it all down, and there was dead. There's still a little patch of dead right there, but man, has it shot up. And it's finally, because I didn't have one for over here, and I always planned to buy another one and put it there, but I never did. I've actually got some little oak trees coming up right there. I need to pull them up. There's a 3rd one right there. Anyway, I kept hoping it would hurry up. If it was going to do all this, it would start going across to this side, and it's just now starting to wrap right up there. That's pretty awesome. It's just so pretty, and it smells so good because the flowers are blooming right now. And Oh my gosh, the smell is, ugh, it just smells so good on my front porch. So what I did was I clipped some on the porch a while ago. They were hanging out like those that just kind of they're trying to grab something, haven't met it yet. I need to clean this porch. Whoa! Little girl, did I scare you? So anyway, I cut all of it back. It was just hanging out like it was hitting me in the face as I would come down, come up the. So I cut all this back, and then I sat down with my scissors and I cut me. There's so much more I could cut, but I had I had 4 little jelly jars and 1 jelly jar that I cleaned out. The 4 of them were those pretty ones for canning. The other one was just really a jelly jar out of my refrigerator, but the jelly was gone. Anyway, I cut 5. So I'm propagating them in some water right now, and in about 8 to 10 weeks, if the root system is really good, they can go in the ground. And I don't know, I'll have to kind of feel that out, because you really should put them in the ground more like in the spring or the fall. But in 8 weeks, it ain't going to be fall. It's going to be midsummer. So I might can put them in dirt. Well, that's what I'll do. I'm backtracking now. When they get a root system on them in about 8 to 10 weeks, and I hope they do, I cut them at the nub and I cut them at an angle. So they should get a good, and I pulled all the leaves except for 2 at the top off of all of them. And I've got them in my kitchen window in a cup of water in those little jelly jars. So what I'll do is when they get a good root system, I will get some small planting buckets, small ones, and I will fill them with potting soil and root them in the potting soil, and then they will be like that for a few months. And when they are I may leave them through the fall and winter and not worry about them, just keep letting them grow in the pot until spring, but put them in my backyard in different places. I think I want to do that. So anyway, and if in a week or couple of weeks we see any kind of even tiny roots, then I may do some more cuttings and give them to the family. Each one of the girls take a couple and put them wherever they might want some. So, oh my gosh, it smells good on this porch. Anyway, I'm headed to the backyard. I've got my corral boards I picked up yesterday or day before yesterday at McCoy's. Or was it yesterday? No, yeah, it was yesterday. Picked them up. And so I've got them. I've done unloaded the truck and took them to the back. So now I'm going to go around and I'm going to cut the 2 for the fence line, and then put that 4x4 in. And then that will allow me to put that last hoop in. And then I'm going to cut the last one and attach it up there on the front of the chicken yard where I'm doing the gate section. Put that piece up there. What are you eating?
Oil cruise.
Is the pantry door open?
Yeah.
Okay, so I forgot to close the pantry.
Yeah.
And you've been in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well. Mm-hmm.
Like being in it.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear that? He don't lie. He likes being in it. Free reign of the pantry. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. But I wanted to show y'all this star jasmine. It is just like going crazy. And some of that may be because them goats ate it. Just ate on it all. Well, for what, 2 days? Maybe not even a whole 2 days. Well, probably they were about on my porch for 2 days. I know this porch. I'm so sorry. I need to get my selfie stick. I don't know. I keep going up on myself when I do things. But yeah. My porch was so nasty when them goats were on it. Your daddy's goats and Katie were in. We made that little makeshift pen here in the front yard, but they were all babies. They were all young goats. All my grown goats were on this porch. and they destroyed this place. They started out on the back deck, and then Molly just tore that table up. And goats are destructive on their own. You throw a big old cow in there with them. And then she came to the front yard, and we put a halter on her and tied her to that tree. So she was pretty content out there. She wasn't in water. I mean, it was raining off and on her, but she wasn't in water. It was dry out there. And them goats were on my front porch, and I just do not ever want to have to deal with that again. But I did read. I know I need to get to work. I'm just sitting here, killing time and putting it off. I read an article where something, I don't think it was a bond. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how. But there was all this money that, I think it's 30 million. I want to say it's 30 million. It was originally 60 something million. I may be wrong on my numbers, but they were all divided into, so out of that, some went to this little job and some went to this little job, and all of it has to do with creeks and ponds and river and all this, some of the roads that have the river and stuff that run behind them. All of the money, all of it is for cleaning out these rivers and creeks and stuff that flood. No, Bumblebee. He's got a big old hole he just went into. I'm gonna tell you what, they can eat right through something, and then your porches could fall down. He went right in. Just spray some Raid up in there. Anyway, yeah, so I think it's like the majority, the most of the money, the bulk of it, 30 something, like basically almost half of it, is supposed to be for this east fork of the river behind us to be cleaned out. That may help with some of the flooding. We won't know till we get into a situation where we have a hurricane or we got all kinds of rain coming, and river starts rising. We'll see where it goes. I don't even know when they're going to start that. I just know it was approved, but I don't know when it's going to start. But I kind of have plans. I just gotta get it done, and yeah. So anyway, all right, I'm going to get in the backyard and start on those projects that I can do right now. I'm making hamburgers. I'm fixing to get back out there and do some more work. But right now I'm taking a break. It's time to try to clean this up. Levi's been out. It's good. I'm not mad at I'm not mad about anything. But, Levi kind of leaves a wake of mess behind him. And so I came out, and I still see a straw right there. I didn't get picked up yet. I came out and cleaned up and straightened up and picked up all of his trash. Look at that black car going down the driveway. I don't know who that is, but they're going fast. I swear, I think our driveway needs some kind of speed bumps. Anyway, I'm fixing to get back out there and work. Check these burgers real quick, and I'm going to show y'all something I did. It's not a big deal, it really isn't, but I didn't have, hold on. See what I did on that post? So that's one of those cans. It's got a solar panel on the top, and then coming up the little the spout, it has some wires that come out, and they have little lights on them. It looks like at night, it looks like there's water coming out. I don't know how to, that's basically what it's supposed to look like. Well, the hook to it broke, so I've been having them hanging just around. I've got one more, but it doesn't work anymore. That one still works. So I thought, well, it needs a hook or something. So I sat it. Lord, there's been all kinds of people up at Mama Does. There comes another black car. But that's a station wagon looking type car. Jeepers. Anyway, I put 2 screws through the metal and into that post. Where's my hand? Into that post right there. And now the little wires are coming down into that hanging basket. So now I'll show y'all tonight. At night it looks like there's just water going into that little basket. It's really cute. All right, let me get back in here and check these hamburgers and then get back out here as soon as they're done and finish eating. Finish eating. Well, I am gonna eat and then I'm gonna finish working. I'm sitting in my chicken yard. So I'm gonna turn the camera so you can see behind me. See this hoop? I cut 31 inches. Make this, wants to fall in a hole. I cut 31 inches off that pipe, and then pushed it back down. So I just took one side, pulled it up, measured 31 inches, and anyway, pushed it back down in the ground, and it's a perfect height. It's I think it's actually a little lower than the rail that's going across the gate right there, because I'm hoping that if it all works out right on that rail, I will put a T, I will screw a T into that rail, and those long pipes are going to hook to the tops in the center of these going this direction. So these hoops are going this direction. Now I'm going to run one down the middle like a backbone. The only best way to describe it. Right down the middle, hooked with zip ties, and then it's gonna go into a T, screwed into the end, and then screwed somewhere a T on this coop, and that end of it will go into that, and that will give it some stability. And I'm hoping it's all gonna work out good. And like I said, if it doesn't, then I'm basically gonna build this same thing, but they won't be a hoop because I'm building out of wood, so it'll have to be a straight cut. So we'll just go up so high, like 6 foot, and go over and come back down 6 foot, and do that all the way down if these hoops don't work. But I'm still, I still have the option of coming back later, and that rooster's after that chicken. She's like, I'm gone. I got away from him. She's up on that goat house. She got away from him. Anyway, I still have the option, if this just flat out doesn't work, or starts falling over all the time, or breaking, and I'm always having to replace and fix these like joints, like, you know, right here, all these joints. If that, who's fighting? If that happens, then like I said, I can come back and do it with wood. Probably last longer and it'll be stronger anyway. But I'm hoping this is going to work. And there's still some I can push down. I can push, that one's not touching the ground. It's not touching the ground over there either. And that third one, that last one right there, is not touching the ground. So I need to get my saw and all my tools out of here. And all these little joints. It's Papa checking the mail. Oh, the goats are ready to eat. All of his dogs with him. Well, mine's with me right here. My big one. The little ones are with Levi. Alright guys, I really think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna sit real quick. I've got some lemonade in my cup up by the porch. Whew. This is the first time I've ever in my life sat in my chicken coop and made a video. I come out here all the time. Y'all are with me sometimes, but I've never brought a chair and sat down. I was tired of bending over. I like these lower. I'm happy with them lower. I think it makes more sense them being a little bit lower. It's still taller than me, Probably still taller than like Dad or Daniel. I don't know, maybe not. I didn't measure. I can measure right in here in the middle. Let me see what this one is right in the middle. Let me see. Tape measures right here. Pull it out. Yeah. To the highest point, it is 77 inches. So it's taller than even, it's still taller than Daniel and Dad and Lester. I mean, it's not like they'll be out here in my chicken coop, but it's taller than them. So I'm happy with that. But I do think I kind of like the idea of an umbrella right in the middle. Maybe during storms and stuff I come in, well, actually, with storms, it'd probably be the best to have it up to give support to all this. So if it's blowing and stuff, it won't move too much. I don't know. I may end up with a whole bunch of 3/4 inch PVC for anybody that needs plumbing and is using 3/4 inch. I sure may, if it doesn't work. But it is a good idea. Just got to make it work. All right, I'm gonna go feed these guys up and go in the house and take a bath, and I will see y'all on the next one. Love you guys. God bless y'all. Katie, I'm trying to do a video.